Have you ever felt like something changed inside you for no clear reason? Not outside, inside. Like the old version of you quietly stepped away while something bigger started waking up. If you found this message today, it may not be random. Most people scroll past moments that could change their lives forever, but you stopped. And that single choice may already be the first sign that the 0-point field has noticed you. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering someone you were always meant to be. And once that memory wakes up, nothing around you can stay the same. Nobody talks about the moment before the shift begins. It never starts with a loud sound or a bright flash. It begins in silence. You may have noticed strange things lately. You wake up at almost the same time every night. People who once understood you suddenly feel distant. Places that once felt safe now feel empty. Even your favorite habits no longer bring peace. Many people think these are problems. But what if they are not? What if they are signs that your old frequency is slowly breaking apart because something much stronger is trying to take its place? The 0-point field is often described as the quiet layer beneath everything we see. Imagine an invisible ocean of energy where every possibility already exists. Most people spend their whole lives floating on the surface without knowing what is underneath. But sometimes, without warning, the field pulls someone deeper. Not because they are lucky, not because they are smarter, but because they are finally ready to carry a different frequency. The strange part is this: the field never asks for permission. It simply begins changing your reality from the inside first. At first, the changes are almost impossible to notice. You may lose interest in fake conversations. Noise starts feeling heavy. Your mind wants more silence than entertainment. You begin asking questions that never mattered before. Why am I here? Why do I feel like I am waiting for something? Why do I feel connected to people I have never met? These questions are not accidents. They are signals. And every signal is like a door slowly opening inside your mind. But here is where almost everyone makes a mistake. The moment the 0-point field starts calling them, fear arrives at the same time. They think they are losing themselves. They try to go back to old routines. They force themselves to stay busy. They ignore the strange dreams. They silence the quiet voice that keeps whispering. Something important is happening. What they do not know is that every time they ignore that voice, the field becomes even louder. Not through words, through events. Then something unexpected happens. A person enters your life with a single sentence that stays in your mind for days. A video appears exactly when you need it. A forgotten memory suddenly returns with unusual clarity. Coincidences begin stacking on top of each other until they no longer feel like coincidences. It feels as if reality itself is gently pushing you toward one invisible destination. And the more you resist it, the stronger those signs become. But there is one truth almost nobody is ready to hear. The 0-point field does not choose people to make their lives easier. It chooses them because they are about to leave behind the version of themselves that no longer belongs in their future. That process is never comfortable. It feels like losing control until you realize you were never meant to control it in the first place. And just when you think you understand what is happening, the field sends one final sign. A sign so personal, so impossible to explain, that it forces you to ask one question you have never asked before. What if this isn't finding me? What if it has been waiting for me all along? The moment that question enters your mind, something begins to move. Not outside, inside. You may not feel it all at once, but the 0-point field has already started changing the way your mind reads reality. This is where the real shift begins. It does not happen through force. It happens through awareness. Suddenly, things you ignored for years become impossible to ignore. A stranger smiles at you, and it feels meaningful. A sentence in a book seems written only for you. A song you have heard 100 times suddenly carries a message you never noticed before. It is almost as if reality is speaking a language that only you can now understand. At first, you may think you are imagining it. Your logical mind will try to explain everything away. It's just a coincidence. You're thinking too much. Nothing special is happening. But the strange thing is, the signs keep coming. Not once, not twice, again and again. They begin connecting like pieces of a puzzle. And each new piece makes the picture a little clearer. You realize that life is no longer happening randomly. There is a hidden pattern beneath every event, quietly pulling you towards something you cannot fully see yet. Then your relationships begin to change. Some people stop calling you. Others become uncomfortable around you for reasons they cannot explain. Friends who once laughed with you suddenly feel distant. It hurts at first. You wonder if you did something wrong. But the truth is different. When your frequency changes, not everyone can stay in your circle. The 0-point field is not taking people away to punish you. It is creating space for connections that match the person you are becoming. The empty spaces are not losses. They are preparation. Around the same time, your dreams become different. They feel more real than ordinary dreams. You wake up remembering small details that refuse to leave your mind. A bright door, a mountain covered in light, a face you have never seen before, but somehow trust completely. You cannot explain why these images stay with you all day. The field speaks in symbols long before it speaks through clear answers. Every dream is like a quiet message waiting for the right moment to make sense. Then comes the silence. This is the stage most people fear. Life becomes strangely quiet. Plans slow down. Messages become fewer. The excitement disappears for a while. It feels like nothing is happening. Many people believe the connection is gone, so they rush back into distractions. But this silence is not emptiness. It is calibration. Imagine tuning a radio. Before the signal becomes clear, there is always static. The 0-point field removes that static by asking you to sit with yourself without running away. As the silence grows, something unexpected begins happening inside your body. You notice that your reactions are changing. Things that once made you angry no longer have the same power. You stop chasing every argument. You stop needing everyone to understand you. There is a strange calm growing beneath your thoughts. It is not because life has become easier. It is because your energy is no longer feeding every distraction. Without realizing it, you have started protecting your frequency. But the biggest surprise has not arrived yet. One ordinary day, during an ordinary moment, something impossible happens. It is so small that anyone else would ignore it. But to you, it changes everything. In that single moment, you realize the signs were never leading you toward a place. They were leading you toward a version of yourself that has been quietly waiting all this time. And the instant that realization appears, you feel something watching from beyond the limits of what your eyes can see. As if the 0-point field is preparing to reveal why it chose you in the first place. From that day on, the world looks the same, but it no longer feels the same. The streets are still there. The people are still talking. The sky still rises every morning. Yet something invisible has changed. It is like someone cleaned a window you never knew was dirty. You begin noticing details that were always there, but hidden behind the noise. Small moments carry deep meaning. Silence feels alive. Even time starts feeling different, as if some days move too fast while others seem to pause just long enough for you to notice something important. This is when the 0-point field begins testing you, not with pain alone, but with choices. Suddenly, old opportunities return. People from your past appear again. Habits you thought you had left behind quietly knock on your door. At first, it feels like life is giving you another chance. But these are not rewards. They are mirrors. Each one asks the same silent question. Will you go back to the old version of yourself, or will you keep moving forward? Most people never realize they are being tested. They repeat the same patterns and wonder why nothing changes. But if you are aware, every choice becomes a doorway. Then something even stranger begins. You start thinking about someone, and they call you. You feel that you should avoid a place, and later discover something unexpected happened there. You wake up with a strong feeling to take a different path. And that small decision changes your entire day. Your intuition is no longer whispering. It is becoming clear. This is not because you suddenly gain magical powers. It is because your mind is becoming quieter and the signal from the field is becoming stronger. But stronger signals also attract stronger distractions. Without warning, doubts begin to grow. A voice inside your head asks, "What if I'm making all of this up? What if none of this is real?" That voice sounds logical. It sounds safe, yet it always appears right before a breakthrough. The old mind wants certainty before taking a step. The 0-point field asks for trust before showing the next path. That is why so many people stop here. They wait for proof, while the proof is waiting for them to move first. As these doubts rise, your outer world becomes more unpredictable. Plans suddenly fail. Delays appear from nowhere. Things you wanted so badly begin slipping away. It feels unfair. You question everything. But later, You discover that every closed door was protecting you from walking into the wrong future. The field is not removing good things from your life. It is removing the things that no longer fit the frequency you are growing into. One evening, while everything seems unusually quiet, you notice something impossible to ignore. The same symbol appears 3 times in one day. It could be a number, a shape, a word, or a strange pattern that follows you everywhere. You try to forget it, but it keeps returning. It feels less like a coincidence and more like a message. Deep inside, you know it means something. You just do not know what. That night, as you close your eyes, a single thought enters your mind with unexpected clarity. It does not sound like your normal inner voice. It is calm, direct, and impossible to forget. The choice has already been made. The only question left is whether you are ready to remember what comes next. And the moment those words settle inside you, you sense that the next step will reveal a truth so unexpected that it could change everything you believe about yourself and about the 0-point field itself. The next morning feels ordinary for only a few minutes. Then something begins to happen that is difficult to explain. You are not seeing bright lights or hearing strange voices. Instead, you notice that your reactions are changing before your thoughts do. Someone speaks to you with anger, but you do not feel the need to fight back. A problem appears, yet fear does not rush in like it used to. It is as if there is a quiet space between every event and your response. Inside that space, you feel calm. And that calm feels stronger than any emotion you have known before. This is one of the hidden signs that the 0-point field is becoming active within your awareness. It does not make you powerful by giving you control over other people. It changes you by helping you gain control over yourself. The energy you once wasted on worry, regret, and endless thinking begins to return to you. You sleep better. Your breathing becomes deeper. Your mind no longer races every second. Without realizing it, you have stopped feeding the chaos around you. But the world does not like silence. The moment your energy becomes steady, distractions begin arriving from every direction. Your phone keeps pulling your attention. Old arguments suddenly return. People who ignored you for months now want your time. It almost feels as if something is trying to break your focus before it becomes too strong. This is where many people lose what they have started building. They think these interruptions are random. They are not. Every distraction asks the same question: what deserves your energy now? One afternoon, while sitting alone, you remember a moment from your childhood that you have not thought about in years. It comes back without warning. You remember a feeling, not just an event. A feeling that life was full of mystery. A feeling that anything was possible. Before fear, before pressure, before trying to fit into the world, there was a version of you that trusted life completely. For a few seconds, that feeling returns. It is so real that it brings unexpected peace. Then another realization follows. What if the 0-point field is not creating a new self at all? What if it is removing everything that covered your real self? Every fear, every false belief, every label you accepted from other people. Layer by layer, those old stories begin falling away. You start seeing that the strongest part of you has been present since the beginning. It was never lost. It was only hidden beneath years of noise. As this understanding grows, you begin noticing something unusual about the people around you. Some are naturally drawn toward you. They open up without knowing why. They ask for your advice. They tell you things they have never shared with anyone else. Others react in the opposite way. They become uncomfortable, defensive, or strangely distant. You do not need to argue with either group. Their reactions are simply reflecting the energy they feel. The field is not asking you to convince anyone. It is asking you to stay true to the frequency you have found. Late that evening, you step outside for a moment. The air feels different. There is no dramatic sign in the sky, no voice calling your name. Yet deep inside, you feel something becoming clearer than ever before. For the first time, you stop asking, why did the 0-point field choose me? Instead, a new question appears. What is it preparing me to become? The answer does not come immediately. Instead, a powerful feeling rises from within, as if a hidden door has just unlocked. And somewhere beyond what your eyes can see, another layer of the journey is already beginning. One that will reveal the true reason your life started changing long before you even noticed it. For the next few days, everything seems strangely balanced. There are still problems. There are still responsibilities. But they no longer pull you in every direction. It feels as if an invisible center has formed inside you, keeping you steady no matter what happens around you. You begin understanding something that cannot be learned from books. The zero-point field is not a place you travel to. It is a state you enter. And once you enter it, the outside world slowly starts reflecting the peace you have created within. Then life decides to test that peace. One morning, unexpected bad news arrives. It is the kind of news that would have completely shaken the old version of you. Your heart beats faster for a moment. Fear tries to return. Doubt quietly whispers, maybe the change was never real. But this time, something different happens. Instead of reacting immediately, you stay still. You take one slow breath. You watch your thoughts without following them. Within seconds, the fear begins to lose its strength. You realize it was only looking for your attention. The moment you refuse to feed it, it fades away. That single moment changes everything. You suddenly understand why the field chose silence before giving you answers. If your mind had remained noisy, you would never have noticed the difference between fear and truth. Fear always screams. Truth almost always whispers. And now, for the first time, you can hear the whisper. As this awareness grows, small miracles begin happening in ways that seem completely natural. The solution to a problem appears after you stop forcing it. The right person contacts you without being asked. An opportunity you thought was gone returns through an unexpected path. None of it feels dramatic. It feels perfectly timed. Almost as if life has been waiting for you to stop resisting before opening the next door. Then you notice something even more surprising. The things you used to chase begin coming toward you on their own. Peace, clarity, better conversations, new ideas. It is not because you became lucky overnight. It is because your energy is no longer chasing everything. It has become magnetic instead of desperate. And the zero-point field always responds more strongly to calm certainty than to endless struggle. But every transformation has one final shadow. Late one night, when everything is quiet, an old memory suddenly returns. Not a happy one, a painful one. A moment you buried deep inside because it hurt too much to face. For a second, it feels like all your progress is disappearing. The emotions come back with surprising force. You wonder if you have failed after all. Then a simple realization changes the entire moment. The memory did not return to hurt you. It returned because it could no longer control you. You look at it differently now, without anger, without guilt, without trying to escape it. And the moment you stop running, the memory begins losing its weight. It is as if invisible chains quietly fall to the ground. You do not hear them break, but you feel the freedom they leave behind. In that silence, a deep understanding rises inside you. The zero-point field was never trying to change your future first. It was freeing you from your past. And just as that truth settles into your heart, you notice one final sign that sends a chill through your entire body. It is the same sign that appeared at the very beginning of this journey, but this time, it is impossible to ignore. Because now, it is no longer outside you. It is coming from within. From that moment, you stop looking for proof in the world around you. The proof is already inside you. The peace you feel is different. It does not disappear when life becomes difficult. It stays with you, even when everything outside seems uncertain. You begin noticing that people react to your presence before you even speak. Some become calmer. Others become restless. You are not trying to influence anyone, yet your energy seems to affect the room without a single word. That is when you understand another hidden truth. The zero-point field does not only change the person it chooses. It quietly changes the space around that person. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you hold, every decision you make sends out a signal. Most people send mixed signals because fear and hope are fighting inside them. But when your mind, heart, and actions begin moving together, your signal becomes clear. And a clear signal always travels farther than a loud one. Soon, you begin seeing how this works in everyday life. You think about starting something new, and instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you simply begin. The first step feels small, but the next one becomes easier. Doors that seemed locked start opening. You meet people who naturally support your direction. Even challenges begin helping you instead of stopping you. It feels as though life is no longer pushing against you. It is quietly moving with you. But every new level brings a deeper lesson. One afternoon, someone laughs at your ideas. They tell you that you have changed too much. They say you are becoming unrealistic. A year ago, those words would have stayed in your mind for days. Now they pass through you like the wind. Not because you think you are better than anyone else, but because your value no longer depends on someone else's opinion. You finally understand that people can only judge the version of you they remember. They cannot see the person you are becoming until the results appear. That evening, you sit alone and ask yourself a simple question. If the 0-point field has guided me this far, what does it want from me now? The answer comes in complete silence. It wants nothing. It only asks that you become fully honest with yourself. No pretending, no hiding, no living according to fear. The moment you accept that truth, another piece of the puzzle falls into place. You realize that the field has never been choosing a few special people while ignoring everyone else. The connection has always been available. The difference is that most people are too distracted to notice it. They keep searching for answers outside while the quiet signal has been waiting inside them all along. Then something happens that you never expected. You look back at the person you were before this journey began, and for a moment, that version of you feels like a stranger. The worries that once controlled every decision no longer seem important. The need to prove yourself has almost disappeared. You are not perfect. You still have questions. But now your questions come from curiosity instead of fear. As you close your eyes that night, you feel a deep sense of gratitude without knowing exactly why. It is almost as if an invisible chapter has ended. But just before you fall asleep, one clear thought enters your mind. The awakening is complete, but the real purpose has not even begun. Those words stay with you. Because somewhere ahead, the 0-point field is preparing to reveal why your transformation was only the beginning of a much greater mission. For a long time, you believed this journey was only about you, your peace, your healing, your awakening. But now, another truth begins to appear. The 0-point field never creates change that ends with one person. Every shift inside you quietly touches the people around you. You may never notice it, but your calm gives someone else courage. Your patience stops an argument before it begins. Your hope reminds another person not to give up. Without trying to teach anyone, your life starts becoming the message. You begin remembering all the difficult moments that once felt unfair. The disappointments, the delays, the people who walked away. At the time, each one felt like a loss. Now they fit together like pieces of a single design. If one event had happened differently, you would not be standing where you are today. The obstacles were not blocking your path. They were shaping it. Even the pain had a purpose that only became visible after you moved beyond it. Then a surprising thought enters your mind. What if the 0-point field never chose the strongest people? What if it simply reached the people who were finally ready to listen? That idea changes everything. You stop comparing your journey with anyone else's. You stop wondering why someone seems ahead of you or behind you. Every person wakes up at a different time. Every life has its own rhythm. The field is not running a race. It is inviting each person to remember who they truly are, one step at a time. As the days pass, you notice that your biggest victories are no longer the ones the world can see. They happen quietly, choosing peace instead of anger, choosing honesty instead of pretending, choosing faith instead of fear. These moments never make headlines, yet they change the direction of your life more than any dramatic event ever could. One evening, while watching the sun disappear beyond the horizon, you suddenly understand something that has been hidden since the very beginning. The 0-point field did not change reality. It changed the one who was looking at reality. And because your way of seeing has changed, your world has changed with it. The signs that once confused you now make perfect sense. The silence that once frightened you has become your greatest teacher. The uncertainty that once felt dangerous has become a doorway to endless possibility. You smile, not because every problem has disappeared, but because you know problems no longer decide who you are. Then one final realization settles into your heart. Perhaps this video did not find you by accident. Perhaps the title caught your attention because a part of you was already searching for this message. Perhaps the feeling you have right now is not excitement. It is recognition. A quiet memory waking up from deep inside, reminding you that your journey was never about becoming someone else. It was about removing everything that made you forget yourself. So if you have stayed until this moment, do not rush back into the noise. Sit with this feeling for a few minutes. Notice how your mind has become quieter than it was at the beginning. Notice how different this moment feels from the one before you pressed play. Because whether you fully believe it today or not, one thing is already true. The zero-point field has changed the way you see yourself. And once that happens, nothing will ever be the same. Weeks pass, and life continues as it always has. People go to work. Cars fill the roads. Messages arrive on your phone. The world looks completely normal. Yet every morning, you wake up with the same quiet feeling that something invisible is moving beneath the surface of everyday life. It is no longer exciting or mysterious. It simply feels real, like breathing, like the sunrise, like a truth that has always existed, whether anyone believed it or not. You begin noticing that you no longer need constant answers. Before, every question demanded an explanation. Now, some questions are allowed to remain open. Instead of creating fear, they create peace. You trust that when the right moment comes, the next piece of the puzzle will appear. That trust changes the way you move through life. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop trying to control every detail. And strangely, things begin falling into place more naturally than ever before. One day, while looking into a mirror, you pause for a few seconds. Your face is the same. Your voice is the same. But your eyes feel different. There is a quiet confidence that was not there before. Not the confidence that comes from success or praise, but the kind that appears when a person finally stops fighting themselves. In that moment, you realize the greatest battle of your life was never against the outside world. It was against the fear that lived inside your own mind. Then another understanding arrives. The zero-point field was never asking you to escape the world. It was teaching you how to live in the world without being controlled by it. That lesson changes everything. You continue working. You continue caring for your family. You continue facing challenges like everyone else. But now, you carry a different energy into every situation. Problems no longer define your day. Other people's opinions no longer decide your value. Even uncertainty loses its power because you have learned that every ending quietly prepares the next beginning. As your journey continues, people begin asking you an unexpected question. You seem different. What changed? You smile. How do you explain something that cannot be seen? How do you describe silence becoming your greatest teacher? How do you explain that nothing outside changed first, yet everything inside did? Instead of giving a long answer, you simply tell them, I stopped fighting myself. Most people nod politely without understanding. But every once in a while, someone becomes completely silent. Something in those words reaches them. And in that silence, you recognize the same look you once had. The look of someone standing at the edge of an invisible doorway. Then it finally becomes clear why your journey happened the way it did. The field was never preparing you to convince people. It was preparing you to remind them. Not through speeches, not through arguments, but through the quiet example of a life lived with awareness, peace, and purpose. As the night sky fills with stars, you take one slow breath and close your eyes. There is nothing left to chase, nothing left to prove. Only one quiet truth remains. The zero-point field did not give you a new life. It revealed the life that had been waiting beneath fear all along. And somewhere, at this very moment, another person is beginning to notice the same strange signs that once found you. Their journey is about to begin, just as yours truly has. Years from now, you may not remember the exact day this journey began. You may forget the title that first caught your attention or the moment you first heard the words zero-point field. But you will remember one feeling. The feeling that, for the first time in your life, something inside you became completely still. And from that stillness, everything else began to grow. Looking back, you realize the biggest changes were never dramatic. They happened in quiet moments that almost seemed too small to matter. Choosing kindness when anger felt easier. Letting go of an old fear instead of carrying it another day. Trusting yourself when no one else could see what you felt inside. Those tiny decisions slowly created a completely different future. Then one final understanding becomes impossible to ignore. The zero-point field is not waiting somewhere in the universe. It is present in every single moment. Every time you become fully aware instead of distracted. Every time you choose love instead of fear. Every time you become completely present. You touch that field again. It was never far away. Only your attention was. That truth removes the last piece of doubt. You stop searching for secret knowledge because you realize the greatest secret was always simple. The more peaceful your inner world becomes, the more clearly you can hear the quiet intelligence moving through life itself. It does not force you. It does not punish you. It simply responds to the energy you carry. You smile as another memory returns. At the beginning of this journey, you believed the 0-point field had chosen you. Now you understand something deeper. Perhaps it was not choosing you for the first time. Perhaps it had been calling you your entire life. Every strange coincidence, every unexpected ending, every person who entered and left, every challenge that pushed you to grow, they were never random. They were gentle invitations leading you toward this exact moment. And suddenly, the title makes complete sense. The 0-point field just chose you. Nothing will ever be the same. Not because the universe picked favorites, but because there comes a moment when a person finally becomes ready to recognize the invitation that has always been there. If that moment has arrived for you, protect it. Do not let endless noise steal it. Do not let fear speak louder than your inner knowing. Keep choosing awareness. Keep choosing peace. Keep choosing the version of yourself that feels most true. Because every time you make that choice, your reality quietly changes with you. And maybe, years from today, you will look back at this very moment and realize it was never just another video. It was the beginning of the day you finally remembered who you had been all along. If that message reached you, then carry it into your life. Not as something to believe without question, but as something to explore with honesty, awareness, and an open heart. Because the greatest transformation does not happen when the world changes. It happens when you do. And once that happens, nothing is ever the same again.